So then we are back with more understandings from the Renewed Covenant, from the Aramaic English translation of the Word of Yahweh. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of Israel, from the prophets of old, from the prophets of Yahweh, giving us understanding of the time of the end, and regarding the latest developments of wars and rumors of wars and pestilences and famines and destructions. We understand the Messiah said the time is not yet. You must calm these people down and then line them up with the scripture. This is what the Messiah said. You are bound then to hear of wars and rumors of wars and destruction, pestilences, earthquakes in various places. But the time is not yet. We are during the time of restoration. What the Messiah was indicating, there is a time of restoration. When you begin to analyze the many facets and then layers of the conversation he's having, then you begin to understand there is a time of restoration yet. And it is extremely important having the holy city set up and ready to go, because each of the holy feasts, holy mikras, gives us then special information of movements of nations, movements of armies, economical situations, what is coming up via prophecy and the 7 functions. It is extremely important having the holy city around. This was the way nations back during the time after Yohanan received sensitive information regarding then the movements of the world. Yesterday was then explained. There is not much explaining anymore the prophecies already spoken. In terms of laying down the foundation of the prophets, of the Torah, and its significances, and regarding the oracles, there are not very many yet prophecies to be revealed. There are a few of them that a person can have a directive in terms of countries and what their intentions are. But they are not at this moment important regarding the time of restoration. There is a kind of a long period of time of restoration where those prophecies are not very relevant. Much later, when then the cities are around and then Yahweh himself makes the decision of when then the people are ready or not, then those prophecies are coming to place. But at the moment, there isn't. Analyze for yourselves. Verify Torah and then the prophets. You won't find very many related prophecies within the time of the restoration. You find prophecies related with the outside of the time of restoration. In time of restoration, the only way you can get permanent answers is from the holy city. Thus you understand the importance of then the first holy city in the land of Cush. Because yet there is a period of time of restoration, we must receive continuous updates from heaven. Precisely what then after Yohanan's people gave to the nations. So then, we are aware of the situation, and also, if you evaluate the holy mikras, you find a special information coming from heaven, giving directives to the nations, to those who are interested. Because during this time of a very high crisis, every nation are facing some sort of a crisis, and they do not want to make mistakes. Neither situations regarding then restoration and countries being restored, they don't want to take risks. So the only way you find answer is by having the holy city. There is no other option. And as myself, you're not going to hear me inventing situations, because the world is already enough of this junk of so many preachers and teachers and evangelists from 1,000 years of deceit, and people got fed up with it. Nations, they want understandings solid, and for these must have the holy city, or no answers. As we understand, Israel, Palestinians at war again, and Syria at war, and then Portugal, Spain already in riots. As it was spoken before, the euro is going to break at some point. There is new leadership in China. Very prudent for us then would have the withdrawal of our ships, so then we can reserve. Also, privatization. Doesn't have to take a person by the hand to understand. When there is a crisis in a country, then a person privatize. And then the maximum can be done at this point in the Middle East is going over there and saying, why are you people not rebuilding? Because our president is going to be faced with a very tough situation. If he helps then the Palestinians and the Muslims, then he is anti-Jewish or anti-Hebraic or anti-Christian. If he helps the Jewish people, then he is anti-Muslim. It's the same game. So then Yahweh has provided. Why aren't you people not rebuilding? That's the answer. However, afterwards they have to have constant updates of what to do, and only the holy city can give you. Because Yahweh has a special agenda up there in heaven. And to form a holy city is extremely inexpensive. So then nations should think what they're going to do, because there is no directive. We have a basic of understanding, but in terms of during the time of restoration, there is no information coming. The movement of nations, the movement then of economics, when to do those, and then how to tackle this war at the Middle East. Those are the specifics only given by the holy cities. Primarily the first holy city in the land of Cush. When you receive directives from heaven, it becomes much easier. Then you begin to adjust your agenda by what then the scripture is lining up. It's much easier. Without it, it's absolutely pitch dark. And every movement a person may make might be the wrong. Because you have 99% chances of doing it wrong versus 8% of doing proper. So it's very significant having the holy city as fast as they can ever could build, and then receiving directives. Please stay tuned, much more coming up.